Hi, this is Eric Lander, the Associate Editor for Search Engine Journal, reporting on Friday, October 26, 2007. Today I just want to quickly recap the behavioral targeting system as it applies to searches conducted on Google, and in particular the Google AdWords system, and actually point out some of the more critical flaws of the system and maybe recap why that should be a concern of yours as an advertiser using the AdWords system. So to get us started here, I just want to conduct a search using Tampa Ford dealers. We're going to put ourselves in the mindset of someone researching new cars and trucks in the greater Tampa area. So our first search obviously is local in nature, so we have the local results here. We're talking about cars and trucks, so obviously we expect sponsor results and all results really to speak to that. And that's exactly what we're seeing here in the sponsor links. And again, let's just be mindful that sponsored links represent those enrolled in the AdWords advertising system. So anything that shows up either in that top pastel box or here on the right hand side, these are advertisers willing to pay on a per click basis for targeted traffic that apply to their business goals. So again, we've done Tampa Ford dealers. To get back to the nature of that, the person conducting the search, let's look at this and say, great, okay, I like these results, but actually I meant to search for maybe a Chevy dealership so I could research Chevy Silverados. I want to, again, point the focus over here on the sponsored results. What we're seeing here is we've got a Chevy dealership, Chevy dealer, Chevy, GMC. Okay, I can understand why there would be a connection there. But I want us to be mindful that our last search was for Ford. Because, again, what we're going to see as the behavioral targeting system begins to assert itself more is that our previous search is going to dictate part of the results that we're getting in our current search. So our last search was for Ford dealers in Tampa, our current search is for Chevy, but here we have an advertiser showing up clearly with Ford branding in a Chevy keyword search. So, that could be looked at as one of two ways. Either there's a Ford dealership who wants to advertise for Chevy related terms, or it's behavioral targeting at work. So let's just kind of confirm and round out this example. We're now going to shift to Dodge. So we'll maintain again, maybe pickup trucks from domestic auto manufacturers. The local results match up, that's not a problem again. So the focus is on Dodge. We've done Chevy most recently and Ford originally. We've got Dodge at the top here, so that's great. But the second ad that we're seeing is for Chevy. And we get into Dodge further down, and the rest of them probably round out okay, because really we've only conducted 3 searches here. Behavioral targeting is sort of a compound system where it will continue to take into consideration what your previous searches were to, again, target the advertising that you see in the results page. So to me, at this point, I've shown you some sort of low-level examples of behavioral targeting. And again, this actually makes sense if you're researching domestic pickup trucks, let's say in the Tampa, Florida area. So we've got this example. So let's change things up drastically. Let's say that we have property out in Dallas, Texas, and we are concerned about maybe lawn care. Maybe it's a house that we're not going to be at, or property that won't be around for the next 3 months, and we're looking to find somebody that will actually come out and take care of that lawn for us on the property. Well, we do a search for Dallas lawn care. It's clearly different than Tampa auto-related searches. So as such, we would expect that all the results match that. The Business Center certainly does that. We've got lawn care companies in here. Our top paying, or our top performing advertiser anyways, in AdWords applies, as is the case as we start looking here on the right hand side. But I want to draw your attention to this right here. What we have in this case is a Dodge dealership that's obviously in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Again, I've conducted a search for lawn care, but we have a car dealership showing up. Now, that happens to be the only real flaw, if you will, on the search result page. But you need to begin to ask yourself, if you're an advertiser willing to pay Google, again, on a per-click basis for quote-unquote targeted traffic, why is it a car dealership would have their ad served up when someone's searching for lawn care? And to me, this just begins to show, a bit larger flaw in the behavioral targeting system. I've given Google the benefit of identifying 2 types of changes in my search. Not only am I looking at Tampa, or originally Tampa and now Dallas, but now I've also shifted from looking at car dealerships or truck dealerships over to lawn care. So these are 2 drastically different elements that they could have drawn some sort of reference from. And just to show you just how bad this system can get, I'm actually going to take it one step further and say maybe I get up and leave my computer. My wife sits down and her sister who lives out in California needs help finding some good curtains or something like that in her new apartment. Well, she'll maybe go online and see what she can find. She types in Los Angeles curtains. The first advertiser that we're going to see here in the sponsor results matches the local business center matches, pretty well. But lo and behold, here on the right-hand side of the sponsored links, we have a lawn care company showing up for curtains. Now, obviously, it matches Los Angeles, so there's probably some geographical targeting in the mix, or keyword targeting at play there because it's obviously bold. But again, if you're this advertiser, are you really willing to pay for traffic when someone searches for curtains or home design or maybe interior design when you're a lawn care company? To me, that's just a really bad fit. And in this example, what we're seeing is that's a top performing advertiser. I mean, my guess is because this matches the keyword search that I've conducted perfectly, that's going to be the top performing sponsored link. But the second, it's there probably because they have a much higher cost per click ceiling than these other advertisers. Google's just willing to throw a lawn care company up there despite the fact that it's totally against the nature of my search. So to me this represents a fundamental flaw in the behavioral targeting system. I feel like this is something that Google needs to address. This shouldn't be impacting advertisers currently, and it is actively, obviously, as these examples show. So if you're an advertiser using the Google AdWords system and you're suspecting that maybe there's some strange things happening, take the time to research situations like this. And I've tried to cover 3 drastically different markets, going from the West Coast, Texas, over to the East Coast, as well as talking about cars, lawn care, and curtains. I mean, these are, I've tried to separate as much as I can, but what we're seeing is that this behavioral targeting is still throwing ads up there. And if the behavioral targeting system is going to continue to throw ads up there, then advertisers are certainly going to be paying for clicks on those links. And I don't think that it's the responsibility of the advertiser to have to go in and worry about negative keyword matches on things like this. I mean, if you're a lawn care company, curtains should not be, even in your world. You shouldn't have to worry about that at all when you're setting up your ad campaign. But I've shown you here some examples of how it can actually apply. Now, I understand that there's not, a large amount of search volume being thrown at situations like this. But if you're a car dealership, let's say, I'm going back to our original example, my guess is that's a very competitive market. Maybe the average cost per click is, anywhere between 50 cents to maybe $1.50 in some of the more competitive terms. If you change your gear so much as to talk about, Tampa Ford F-150 to, Los Angeles drapes or something like that, I mean, your ad shouldn't be showing up, and you really shouldn't be left vulnerable to a click, for something like that. I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me. It's something that Google needs to address and clearly isn't. And it's obvious to me that they're really just doing this to make a quick buck. So if you're paying, actively in AdWords and you have some active AdWords groups going out there, get in touch with your Google account rep and try to find some examples of this in action. If you need to, reference back to this video and let them know that their system is certainly flawed, and demand that they protect you as an advertiser, because clearly this isn't set up for the advertisers. This is set up for them. This is for their commercial gain, and I don't necessarily agree with that. I don't think it's good for the industry. I don't think it's good for just the nature of search results. As a market leader, I feel like Google owes it to those using their systems to present the users with more relevant and more targeted advertising opportunities. If they're a market-leading organization with the strongest platform out there, that says a lot about how far this industry still has to go. And I don't necessarily think that that's a true indication of all the other systems that are out there. So, please take the time to comment on this video over on YouTube, to comment on Search Engine Journal in the actual post, and let us know, what you think about this. Maybe how behavioral targeting system is impacting your ad spend. Things like your impression count is going to go up. Your click-through rates are obviously going to go down since your ads are no longer targeted as appropriately as you'd like. These are all factors that you need to think about as an advertiser. And again, we want to get your opinion as to how this impacts you and maybe what you think Google should do to address the situation. So I thank you for your time. I thank you for tuning in, as well as for reading Search Engine Journal, and we look forward to sharing more videos like this with you in the future. Thank you.